Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about MS relapses. So I think I am currently in one. um, I think technically, if you've got new symptoms for more than 24 hours, it's considered a relapse. In saying that, I do need to look into it a little bit more because this is all very new to me. So I know that everyone's MS symptoms are different, their flares are different, their relapses are different. I understand that. This is just sort of what I've been experiencing and going through recently. Um, but if you are worried about what you're going through, please contact your GP or your MS nurse or your neurologist to get further help because everyone is different, and if you have any concerns at all, you need to speak to a specialist. So, I don't think theoretically this is my first relapse. I think I've had relapses before and I didn't realise because I never was fully explained to me what a relapse really was. And even though I've been diagnosed with RRMS, so relapsing remitting MS, I never really understood what that really was. So this is very new, this understanding. Makes a lot of sense, but yeah, just new territory. So at the end of February, I started to get it's hard to explain, kind of like a cramping muscle tension sort of feeling in my left leg and arm sometimes, but leg mainly. Um, and that was sort of coming and going, but consistently there, if that makes sense. Um, and I knew that there were new symptoms at the time, but I didn't really. I just, when every time I have a new symptom, I just thought my MS is progressing. That's just the way that it works. Um, I think I was so scared to reach out to my neurologist and my MS nurse because I didn't want the pressure of being told I have to go on DMTs. And so I figured, I'll just manage it the best that I can and they don't have to know anything. So that was where my head was at for a while. Um, so yeah, that was the end of February. I started experiencing that. At the end of March, I started experiencing the same thing, but in my right leg. And I was also getting, so for ages, especially on the left side of my face, I thought I was getting something called trigeminal neuralgia, but I now get it on the right side as well. So I don't think it's trigeminal neuralgia because apparently you can't get that in both sides of the face. And the more that I think about it and try to explain it, it's not so much pain, it's like a tingling, crawling sensation, but a very uncomfortable one. It's not pleasant. And when it's really bad, it kind of borderline feels like it's burning a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's really, really not pleasant. And I'm getting that on both sides of the face now. So I started getting that at the end of March. The end of April, my right arm decided to do the same thing as my other extremities, that tense, crampy sort of feeling. And when it's really bad, and this is with like both my arms and both my legs, it gets like really heavy. It's very strange. I actually had in my left lower leg the other day complete numbness, but that was a first. That was bizarre. That kind of freaked me out, but that only lasted for I think it was a couple of hours. But yeah, that felt very odd. Um, and then so the right arm went, and then the other thing I wonder as well, because I had a very, very bad UTI mid-April, I think it was. Um, and I know that having infections and stuff can exacerbate symptoms. So trying to work out if that had anything to do with certain things that were going on as well, because I've generally felt pretty bleh for a couple of weeks now. Even though my energy has been up, everything else has sort of been like that. So, yeah. But the other thing that's been happening, and this has only been happening in the last couple of days, and this is why I'm thinking I'm in a relapse and why I need to get in contact with my neurologist and my MS nurse, is I've started to get this very strange sensation across my chest and shoulder, sort of up my neck and across the top of my back, especially around here. It's like a very tense, I can't even explain it. It's so strange. I guess very tense and tight, and starts to like clench together, and it feels very odd. And when it's really bad, it's kind of like a lot of pressure. I don't think it's what they call the MS hug. From my understanding of what the MS hug is that it's around your chest or torso, and to the point where like you're feeling wrapped and you can't breathe. And it doesn't feel like that. It's sort of one-sided. It's my left side. Majority of the time, it's my left side. So yeah, that's sort of where everything's at, and it's good to know, in a way, what's going on, and hopefully I'll get even more clarification around that when I contact my neurologist or nurse today, and hopefully they can put me onto some steroid treatment to settle everything down. So I'll wait and see. I don't know the ins and outs of all that. This is very new, but it freaked me out when I realised what was going on, to a degree, because it was just that aha moment of I've got no control over this, and the lack of understanding as well has kind of clouded things, I guess, a little bit too. And yeah, that realising that lack of control has been difficult, because it's really scary when you don't know, not just don't know what's going on with your body, but the extent of what it's going to get to, the worry about the lasting damage it'll do, just the unknown. That complete unknown is really hard to deal with. But I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. I'm trying not to catastrophize my thinking, in the sense of worst case scenario, this is the be all and end all, I've done permanent damage, it's all my fault, sort of thing. I know that it's not, and I know that I'm hoping it's not going to last, that this is all just a flare, and I need to have some steroids or whatever it may be to settle everything down, and then I'll go into remission, as they say. Relapsing, remitting MS. So yeah, it's just the other thing as well. Every time I was having little things happening with the symptoms or whatever, I was always putting it down to food. Oh my God, I must have eaten something that's setting off my central nervous system or whatever. So I was driving myself pretty much crazy, thinking I was eating the wrong food or I'd slipped up somewhere, without getting to the ins and outs of it. But yeah, that's what I was putting it all down to. So to know now that, no, it wasn't that I was doing something wrong with my food, it's just a normal part of the MS that you do get relapses. The understanding, I guess, and my naivety about it all. Bit of a learning curve recently. So yeah, trying not to freak out, trying to manage it the best that I can at the moment, and getting the support that I need to get at this point in time. So that's where I'm at, and fingers crossed that when you see me next time, I will be in a much better space than what I am in now. Thanks, guys. Bye. Take care of yourselves. Bye.